in Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, here with Jay Dash. Going to talk some baseball with you today. Talk a little bit about the San Diego Padres. Well, I guess mostly about the Padres. And Dash, I sent you an article earlier in the week. Clayton Kershaw's salary for the season was higher than the Padres' entire team salary on day one of the season.
Yeah, and it looks like the story came from the LA Times, and this writer, I don't even know how to say his name, Bill Shaken. It looks
Shake
like,
and bake.
But his quote was, Kershaw, the Dodgers ace and three-time National Cy Young Award winner, will earn $33 million this season, the highest salary of any player in the major leagues. The Padres, in a season that might be best described as extreme tanking, have committed to pay $28 million to 25 players on Monday's active roster. Now, he did point out that it is the active roster. The active payroll, I went and looked at Spot Track. They have it at $29.6 million. So it's a little higher than he said, but still, Kershaw does make more than that. But he did say active roster. They're actually, their total salary is $71.6 million. They have $4.94 million on the disabled list, and that includes Carter Capps, who's a solid closer. And then they also have a bunch of money out to players that are no longer on their team. It's the retained salaries is up to $36.45 million. So that's how much they're paying for players that aren't even on this team. And that includes Melvin Upton's making over $12 million. James Shields is making $11 million. Matt Kemp, $8.5 million from San Diego. Hector Oliveira's making $2.5 million. Jed Jerko, $2 million, and Alexi Ramirez, $1 million. So they're paying out a ton of money here. And, I mean, really, when you make mistakes in signing players and bringing players in, sometimes you do have to tank. And this is the season that they are tanking. There's no question about it. But the total overall salary, $71.6 million, including those retained salaries, isn't actually the lowest payroll in the league. Tampa Bay and Milwaukee actually have lower payrolls this season.
Now, a lot of this dead money is coming from that free agency frenzy they had a few years back when they traded for a bunch of people, signed a couple people, and then completely sucked in that whole season, right?
Yeah, that was actually new management that came in. They thought they could make a big splash. They went out and got Matt Kemp, Justin Upton, and Melvin Upton, both the Upton brothers. They had Will Myers in the outfield at the time, and we were talking about them maybe competing with the Pirates to have the best outfield in baseball that season with Kemp, Upton, and Will Myers out there, and they totally flopped. They also brought over Craig Kimbrell to close, you remember, and they ended up getting rid of him pretty quick as well because they shit the bed that season real quick, and they really had to dump some money, and they're still paying for a lot of these players right now. But if you go look, I looked since 2000, the 5 lowest opening day payrolls since that year. Actually, I'll start with the 6th lowest because it was quite recent. It was the most recent one. In 2013, the Houston Astros had an opening day payroll. Now, that's payroll. This isn't active roster. Like I said, the San Diego Padres payroll was $71.6 million. So that isn't nearly as bad as the active payroll, which is $29.6. But the opening day payroll for the Houston Astros in 2013 was $22.1 million. Then the 5 lowest, in 2008, the Marlins had $21.8 million opening day payroll. In 2000, the Marlins had a $20.1 million opening day payroll. In 2003, Tampa Bay at $19.6 million. In 2000, the Twins had a $16.5 million payroll. And in 2006, it was the Florida Marlins at the time, I guess, had a $14.99 million payroll to open the season. That's true tanking right there.
Beat.
Yeah, so there's nothing you can really do right now because the new management put them in a bad situation when they came in. They thought they could make a splash, win right when they came in, and things aren't always that easy. And that's the thing, as a fan, you really got to watch. You always want them to bring in all these players. Every time there's a free agent out there you like, or if people's being talked about in trade talks, you always want them to bring them to your team. Bad things can happen when that happens, and the San Diego Padres are a perfect example of that. For instance, we're Pirates fans, so yeah, a lot of people wanted to bring Jay.
Whoa. Don't be lumping me into that group.
Well, whatever. You know what I'm saying. But you love him, man. You're a secret Pirate fan. But you remember a lot of people wanted him to sign Jay Happ, and it could have turned out to be great. But let's say you had to sign him for 4 years or something. I forget. He might have got a 3-year deal. If he has one good season and then doesn't work out for the next 2 seasons, that's some money you're probably going to try to deal with a deadline, and then you're going to be paying for that for the next couple years. So you got to watch. And the San Diego Padres really put themselves in a terrible situation, and it really doesn't get any worse than this. But I mean, you look at their roster. Yeah, their active payroll is $29.6 million. But they do have Will Myers still. They moved him from the outfield to first base. And that guy, he's still a young player. He has a lot of upside ahead of him. They have Solarte at second base, who he's not a star or anything, but he has one of the highest floors in the game, really. He's never really going to be a terrible player for you because he has good strike zone awareness and everything. So he's always been a solid player. They might end up trading him as well at some point to bring in a couple other younger guys. They have Eric Ibar at shortstop. He's not great or anything. He had his better days, but he's still a solid guy to go out there if you're going to go to the game and see at shortstop. And then they got some young outfielders here, Manuel Margot and Hunter Renfroe, who are really in their rookie season. So there's a couple guys there with some upside, especially Margot. Margot looks like he's going to be a very good player. And they also have that Travis Jankowski. I think he's more of a fourth outfielder, but he's a guy I hope succeeds, a guy I liked in the minor leagues. And they have Brandon Maurer, a solid reliever, and like I mentioned before, Carter Capps at closer as well. And that's really their core, I guess, if you want to call it that. So they don't have a ton of talent out there, but they do have a small core they can work from. And in the minor leagues, they believe a lot of the fans, I've read a lot of what the fans of San Diego have said, and a lot of them believe their minor league system has a lot of talent in it, and they're going to be good in a few years. I don't know if I agree with that so much. I don't care for their talent as much, but who knows? Maybe some of these guys work out. So it's not like they're in a terrible situation like the Pirates were back after the 92, 93 years. When after that, I mean, the Pirates were going to be bad for a long time, and everybody knew it. The San Diego Padres actually have a shot to be good here in a couple of years.
Well, what was the Pirates' lowest payroll during their 50-year losing streak?
50, huh? I'm not really sure what the lowest was. I didn't go back from 2000 before 2000. I know in the mid 90s, late 90s, one of those years, man. They're I don't know if it was their total payroll or just their starting lineup, but it was like $8 million, man. It was terrible. But since 2000, the Pirates, I mean, they've never been the lowest team. There's always been a couple teams each year lower than them. And some years, a handful of teams, but they've always been in the bottom. But that's it, man. I think the San Diego Padres, it looks bad right now. I got a couple names to go watch if you're in San Diego, or if San Diego comes to town, if you want to go to a game. Will Myers is probably the best player out there, the one with the most upside, I would guess. Maybe Manuel Margot. But they do have a little bit of talent out there, and it's not going to be a 20-year losing streak or anything like that.
Didn't they beat the Dodgers the night Kershaw pitched against them?
I don't think so, man. I think they got a run off of Kershaw in the first inning, although it was unearned. But I do think they lost that game. I can't remember, though. To tell you the truth, I'm not 100% sure.
I knew when I sent you that article, your reply was going to be, that can't be possible.
Yeah, it made no sense to me, but I didn't realize it said active payroll. Like, yeah, right. I knew, but in the past there were low payrolls, but I didn't think there was any this season that low. But when I noticed it was active payroll, that's a little different.
Now let me ask you this: with the San Diego Chargers leaving town, does that help the Padres or hurt the Padres? it gives
I don't know how much
more of an opportunity for fans to move to baseball. But I was reading an article online the other day and said that younger fans are watching baseball less than any of the major sports. And then with the Padres really not being a good team, they're really missing out on an advantage here that they have where they could really grab that city by the balls and take control of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure which way it's going to go with the San Diego Chargers moving out there. Where are they at now? LA?
Yeah, they're the LA Chargers.
So I don't know how it's going to work out. Maybe those fans will carry over and still like the LA Chargers. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But, I mean, San Diego got to put a good team together. I mean, if they make a splash like they did that one season, fans will get excited. I know that. Who knows? It might turn out like this. But I think they're going down the right course this time around. They're going to go younger and have some guys move through the minor league system and hopefully work out for them that way. And they're going to save some money this season. They're obviously going to tank this season. So it's not like football where if you don't spend the money, you can save it for the following season. You can't do that in football. And baseball, I mean, if you're going to tank this season, who knows? Maybe they go out and spend some money here in a couple of years when a couple of their younger prospects grow into being major league ready.
Just seems like from a PR and a marketing standpoint that now is the best time ever for them to really go after fans as far as, their local marketplace.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be this season. I'll tell you that.
Not with that payroll.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they have some talent there. They could have spent $30 million more, but it wouldn't have helped them win this season. So it makes no sense, really, to go over $100 million payroll.
Anything else for the fans tonight?
Nope, that's it, man.
Fans, any questions or comments, hit us up on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Hit me up on Twitter at betjimtowin. As always, check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/betthespread. Come back to YouTube, click subscribe. Check out our mock draft segment if you're interested in football. Beast.